Okay, good afternoon everyone. Thank you very much for coming. I do appreciate it. It is still a tricky world with the COVID restrictions that are placed upon us. I'm going to go through those restrictions with you a bit later on, but I just wanted to welcome you and just give you a sample that thanks to Miss Watson. This is the sort of thing that your child will experience next year. This is one of our wonderful dress-up days, and you can see not only the kids dress up, but all the teachers as well. So we have a great time in kindergarten. So first of all, very welcome to our 2021 transition, and I'd ask Mrs. Frager to do our acknowledgement of country.
Good afternoon everyone. So I've been running the one-eye group at Rathmines this year, which has been lovely. We have around 40 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students that attend Rathmines Public School. And so I think it's very important at the start of our session this afternoon that we acknowledge the Awabakal people as the traditional custodians of the land where we live here. And we need to pay our respect to the elders of the past and to the emerging generation of elders and Aboriginal children that are coming through our school.
Thank you, Mrs. Frager. I'd just like to introduce the staff here tonight. We've actually got quite a roll-up of people here to talk to you tonight. And it's just lovely. It's just one of those Rathmines things that you will find that the staff go above and beyond constantly. So I've got from this year's kindergarten, I've got our 3 kindergarten teachers, Mrs. Frager, Miss Watson and Mrs. Button up the back, have been teaching kindergarten in 2021. And I've also got Mr. Rucroft, who is filming for us tonight. So it'll go up on the website. We've also got some visitors from the PNC. So we've got our lovely mum over here, and we've had one of those mental blank moments at the moment. From the uniform shop, I'll get to it in a minute. From the uniform shop, who's going to talk to us soon? So here we are. So, Jen, thank goodness for the slides. Jen is from our uniform shop. Normally this would be a little bit further through, but Jen's very kindly taken half an hour off work to come and talk to us. So I'll pass it over to you. Jen, can you come over this way so that you're in the frame?
Hi everyone. So I, myself and Sharon run the uniform shop, which is open on Mondays. Currently we're closed to people coming in and trying on, but hopefully as COVID restrictions start to go down, then hopefully we are able to reopen up to everyone again. I do have a sample of clothing that I can show you guys of what you wear and the sizes and all that sort of stuff. So pretty much the information that I like to get out on these days is what's going to be true to size and what is bigger than true to size. So when it comes to like our girls' uniforms, we have 2 options this year. We're really lucky because beforehand it was only ever the dresses. So this one here is a size 4, and the skirts are a size 2, so they go down to quite small. And so the skirts and the shirts are a new option. So they are shorts. That looks like a skirt, just in case you don't know what a skirt is. And then you've got the dress. So the dresses go down to a size 4. They are pretty much true to size. So when you're ordering, if they do not fit, if you get them home, try them on, please feel free to let us know and we can exchange them as long as we're able to pass them on, because it would be no different to trying them on at school. So then we have the boys' uniforms, which we have. Do you want to do those ones? Thank you. So the blue shirt and all the boys' uniforms are not true to size. They are actually a size bigger than what you expect. So a size 4 is, if they're in a size 4, if they're in a size 6, it would be a size 4. So this here is actually a size 4. That there is a size 6. We've got these ones here which are a size 4 pants, and our smallest that we go down to is a size 3. The difference between the size 3 and the size 4 is a little bit in the waist, but there's a fair bit of difference in the pants. I know that I was talking to one of the mums who has little boys coming in this year, and she was talking about how she would need a size 3. So there's the difference, and they just don't have a pocket for a size 3 as comparison to a size 4. On sports day, there's a couple of different options. So we have, this is our shirts that everybody wears, so this is unisex. The shorts are unisex. These are actually true to size. So what if your child wears a size 6, a size 6 would be what they would get in this as well. There are 2 different types of tracksuit pants. So we call these the fleece pants, and these are the microfiber. I'm sure that you guys would remember the parachute pants, like that's that. So these are only worn on uniform day, on sports day I should say. The long pants for the boys can be worn on the other days. And this jacket is only on a sports day as well, if you would like that. The other option that we have is, we have a jacket and a jumper that you can wear. Again, I find that these are true to size. I also try to get a little bit more bigger because you can roll up the sleeves, and by the time we buy them at the beginning of the year, you find they're pretty much gone up that size by the time winter comes along. But as all the windows are open and all that sort of stuff, they're suggesting to bring jumpers in. So we have jumpers and jackets, depending on whether you want your children to keep in a jumper all day. When I want my kids to keep their jumper on, I use the jumper. If I think that it's going to be warm, I give them the jacket. So that's my trick, just to keep them nice and warm and whatever. So these ones here can be worn every single day of the week. Is there any questions? I should mention, girls wear white socks, boys wear grey socks. On sports day, it's white socks as well.
And we do have a bucket hat.
Oh, yes,
Bring the bucket hat. We do have we're a sun-safe school, so we encourage kids to always have a hat on. And the bucket hat is reversible, and it has their house colour on the inside.
When do we find out what house they're in to buy the bucket hat?
I have a list at the uniform shop, so when you order, I already
And
know.
will they go with previous siblings in the same house?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
We try to.
years and years ago?
Oh, that many years ago?
Oh, I'd say two.
Normally they try to, but it also goes off of age and like the year that they were born and that sort of stuff. They do that too. The other thing too is make sure that you put names on them. I find that I use the iron-on tags. Others use like about 3 iron-on tags on different spots, and label everything, like lunchboxes, everything. Everything seems to go missing at some stage or another. So the insides of the caps will depend on which class house your little ones are in. But yeah, we do have the information at the uniform shop, so we can work it out. And I've simplified the forms issue. Did we have the new forms in?
I didn't bring them down tonight.
So when you get the new forms, like it's all nice and simple, so we'll just be able to do that. Just leave the hat house that you're in blank, and we'll just sort it out for you.
Alright, so you can always ring Jen in the office, and she will give you some information about how you can place your order and how you can pick it up and all that sort of thing. Did I see Nadine?
She was about 10 minutes off.
Oh, right, okay, so we'll keep going. So thanks, Jen, for that. That's wonderful. The next couple of screens just talk about the people that are at our school. So Mr. Walker, who was just leaning through the window, who you all would have met on your interview there, our principal. My name's Kathy Rucroft. I'll get to know all of you I've just got a new role. So my new role is Assistant Principal, Curriculum and Instruction. We have 4 other APs. Mr. Elston looks after the senior primary. Mr. Wild looks after the special ed unit. Mrs. Fragar is going to be relieving AP for K2 next year, and Mr. McNamara is relieving AP for the Stage 2 kids. Here we go. Another really important part of our school is our school vision. When you had your enrolment interview, Mr. Walker would have gone through those points with you. This is something that all of the staff and our community jointly made, and we really strongly believe in all of these things that go on. So we really believe in the pursuit and celebration of excellence. We believe that every child will succeed, and that they're given the opportunity to do that in a supportive environment. So it doesn't matter where they start, it doesn't matter, what sort of skills they bring to school, that will provide them with an opportunity for success. We have a personalised environment. So again, we look at the individual child, not a whole class, and teach to that. We teach to each individual child. We also like to think about the fact that we're educating our students for their life, not just for their school career, but to be active citizens in our society. If you want to contact the school, there's various ways. The best one is face-to-face, which understandably is very difficult at the moment. So hopefully next year we will get back to normal, and that is the very best way, because you can talk to the teacher and sort through any issues or problems or concerns that you have. But you can email us. Our website has some information on it. The School Bag app is the main way that we contact you. So you would have got the message this afternoon just to remind you that this afternoon was on. So that's something we use all the time. Mr. Walker puts out a rack finder, a newsletter every fortnight, or you can phone us up. Most of the teachers also have Dojo, which is a messaging app that we keep in contact with you on a daily basis. I just saw Nadine sneak in. Nadine, do you need to go? Do you need to do your bit now? You're right? Okay. Probably the first people you'll see is the lovely Kay and Jen in the office. Very helpful, very knowledgeable ladies. They can answer most of the questions that you will have about the school routines and things that you can see. We also have Mrs. Jackie Marchant. She is our school counsellor. So if there's something that we wish to investigate together to assist your child in any way, she is the person that we would consult. She's also available for you as a parent to consult if you have any issues or problems that you want to talk about. We've got lots of people who help us around the school, ladies that work in the office, and then we've got the learning support officers. You will hear about the SLSOs. That's this group of people here, and they work in the classroom supporting the children. And our cleaner is a new cleaner this year. Her name's Robin, and she's doing a fabulous job at the moment. The gardens are looking great. She's a bit of a gardener, as well as the classroom, so she's doing good. And our general assistant is Nigel. He mows all our lawns. So unfortunately, a big place of our world, a part of our world these days is all about WH&S. So in your packs, I have put for you a working with children thing. That's a mandatory thing. So next year, if the school opens up again, fingers crossed it will, we'll invite you to come to craft days or sports days or something as a volunteer. You need to have that form filled out to come and work with the children. You don't have to have that just to come to the Easter Hat Parade. But if you want to come and work in the classroom, to help with a craft day or something, you have to have one of those forms. But the good news is you only have to fill it in once. We will keep it on file for the full 7 years that you're here, so it's a one-off thing that you have to do. And that it just explains it there. If you need to take your child early for any reason, you have to go to the office and sign them out. Again, it's all of that safety and child protection issues that we deal with. If there is a fire and evacuation drill while you're on site, you need to follow the staff's direction. But our general evacuation point is the oval. What else? Oh, the COVID rules. So these wonderful rules change consistently. It is very difficult to keep on top of them. Mr. Walker does a fabulous job of keeping us up to date with all of the rules and the rule changes. But truly, we don't know. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what it's going to look like in January next year when your little ones start. In 2020, so last year, they made exception for kindergarten parents, and you were allowed to come on site and drop your kids off and then leave. All right? Nobody else was allowed. I'm hoping that they make the same exception for next year, but we will update you as soon as we know. So as soon as we know what the go is, we'll let you know. Then we've got Olympia. No. Olympia from Active Bush was going to come down. She might be held up. So we have before and after school care, and you can contact the office, or you can just drop in and see Olympia in the hall if you wish to access before and after school care. This is another program that's been a little bit impacted by COVID. Our buddy system, hopefully you've all received your buddy letters.
Yeah.
So normally the buddies would come down tomorrow and meet one another, but we're not allowed to mix and mingle. So unfortunately our buddies, they're very disappointed, they're devastated, but unfortunately they can't come down under the rules. So we'll have to introduce them at the beginning of next year. But the idea of having a buddy is that they've got a friend in the playground, so a big person that they can go and contact. And we chose this year's Year 3, next year's Year 4, to give your child a contact with someone big for the next 3 years, because they'll be Year 4, Year 5, Year 6. So while ever they're in the infants, they'll have a buddy that they can go and access on the playground if they need to. All right. So when we look at kindergarten, we really concentrate on the whole child. So it's not just about one area, it's not just about literacy or numeracy, although that is a really strong focus for us, but it is about developing the whole child. In your packs, you'll see, if you want to have a quick look, there's a little story, a little social story that you can read with your children about coming to school. It's called A Special Place. There's also 2 documents. One, they're both from the department. One is about the things that the department, this one, it's got getting ready for school. It's got lots of really good hints in there to help allay all those nervous fears that you and your child will have through January. So there's lots of really good tips in there, so I really recommend you give that a read. And the other one is a little out of date, but it's pretty good. It's about what your child will actually learn once they come to school. On Monday they released a new curriculum for kindergarten to Year 2. I haven't had a chance to study it in depth yet, but it's really highly focused on the basics. It's getting back to phonics and reading and writing in a very big way. And numbers. I haven't, as I said, I haven't studied it, but you can see it on the line too. You just have to Google it and it'll come up if you're interested. But this talks about all the other subjects that your child will be exposed to and gives you sort of a bit of a flow to see how they will develop through years in that subject. So that's an interesting one for you to read. Sorry?
So that new curriculum will start for our students next year?
Next year is the implementation phase, where I'll be leading the implementation of it here at our school. So we will be starting to use it next year, and then the year after it is mandatory. But we'll start next year. I've already started, looking at it and working out how it's going to work. So we'll start next year. Here's Olympia. Hi, Olympia. So Olympia runs the USH for us, and I've skipped past your slide, but the floor is yours.
My name's Olympia, so I'm the coordinator at Active Bush.
So a few things about us. We run obviously before and after school care. We open every morning at 6:30 a.m. Now, if your child attends Rathmines, we bring them out to the teachers on duty at 8:30. If they attend another school, we do drop-offs from schools around the area, so mainly Arcadia, Wanji, Black Horse Park, Toronto, just depending on how many children we get from each school. And then of an afternoon we collect the children and we're open until 6 o'clock at night. So for before school care it's $20, after school care it's $25, and we also run our vacation care program as well, which is $72. All that is before CCS as well. So once CCS is applied, the percentage will come off your accounts. Now, if your child is wanting to come to vacation care, they can come from the 1st of January also. So we also provide before breakfast of a morning and afternoon tea of an afternoon as well, which involves like cereal, toast, juices, and of an afternoon it's usually just crackers, fruit, vegetables, things like that. We run programs each day, so we encourage learning through our extracurricular activities. So a few things we do with the children, we have our outdoor program to encourage physical activity. And a few of our extracurricular activities are like science program we run. We also have our homework club, Little Einstein, so that's our year science. We've got a cooking program, everything like that. So has anyone got any questions? No.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you want to book your child in,
Yes.
what's the process and how much time do you need for that? So can we just call you and say, oh, this week such and such is coming on these days, or next week, or
Yes,
does it have to be a
absolutely.
regular booking?
No, it doesn't necessarily need to be regular booking. So if you just do require casual bookings, we do have plenty of vacancies at the moment. So we used to be able to take 63 children, but now that we've moved in the hall, it's gone up to 81. So we do have plenty of vacancies. So even if you had something on that afternoon, we don't mind you just flicking us a text through or giving us a call and we can book your child in that day. However, we do have a 24-hour cancellation policy. So if you were to cancel less than the 24 hours, you will be automatically charged. But if it is out of that, then we can cancel that for you and you won't be charged.
Yeah.
Has anyone else got anything?
So you can always pop in and see Olivia. We've got some flyers.
Absolutely. I do have some enrolment forms here if anyone would like to take one when they leave. Beautiful. I'll leave these on the table.
Thank you. Thank you. Nadine, you want to come down and have a chat? So Nadine is our very hard-working P&C president. It's been a very challenging year for the P&C. Not being able to have parents on site has meant that we haven't had a whole lot of fundraising. But Nadine's quite active across our school.
Yeah, so thank you, Kathy. Thank you, nice to see you all. Thanks for the invitation. As you've heard, I'm the current PNC president, but we're obviously all a team that works together. And so we are the Parents and Citizens Committee that essentially works collaboratively with the school and the teachers to try to improve resources and education for the kids and just the overall experience for our school community. We, as you've already heard from Jen from the uniform shop, the uniform shop is another aspect of the PNC and how we work together. We've also got the canteen under the PNC and school banner. It kind of dips into both. The canteen, I'm not quite sure if Kathy's mentioned about the canteen. So that's obviously you can do your lunch orders. We're hoping to introduce an online ordering system next year to make it a lot more easier to obviously order your school lunches. And our Canteen Supervisor has unfortunately just resigned because she's got a different position, so she's moving on. So our Canteen Supervisor position has just been advertised on the I Work for Education, something like that. If anyone wants to apply, we'd love to hear from anyone. Also, so we meet monthly. Normally it's the third Monday night of the month. obviously COVID's changed bits and pieces, so we've gone from face-to-face meetings here at the school to Zoom meetings where some people would be on site and others would be in the comfort of their own lounge room, attending via Zoom, and now we've moved into Microsoft Teams meetings as well, so that once again we're all in the comfort of our own houses, but we can still touch base. It's great because it gives us an opportunity to meet with Nick, we get to hear back about what's happening at the school, and we also get to feedback from all the parents and the school community about what could be on our mind or what's our concerns, and we get to take that to the school and actually have a chat about it. Everyone's more than welcome. We've got, I don't know if you've heard about different Facebook pages as well, where there's a bit of talking and bits and pieces, but that aside, myself and the others are more than welcoming for anyone that wants to join us. Our first meeting is February. It'll be the third Monday in February next year, and then our AGM will be in March. Our treasurer's children are moving to a different school, so we're going to lose her as well. So in March, we'll also have the opening for the treasurer, who we would love to replace with another happy face. And also, as Kathy said, depending on how COVID rolls around, before COVID started, we were hoping to alternate meetings so that we would actually alternate to a day meeting as well to try and increase the ability for different members of the school community to come. If nighttime doesn't suit them, maybe daytime or our drop-off, different bits and pieces like that. What else can I tell you? Obviously, fundraising is a big part of what we do to try and get the funds to then reinvest into our school, into our community, into our kids. So we might have internal fundraisers, for example, we'll run Mother's Day, Father's Day, all sorts of bits and pieces, which obviously has that double positive effect because the kids get an opportunity to buy something for their loved one, and then we get the money to reinvest into the school. There's also the external fundraising as well, such as Bunnings barbecues and bits and pieces. Other ones would help facilitate fates and school concerts. And then not only that, it's not only I suppose fundraising that we're doing that way, but we'll also run different barbecues like for different events or Easter hat parades that we'll work with the teachers. I think that's a bit of a quick summary for now, because I know you've got a lot of information. But as I said, please just feel free to touch base. I know I've put out there that we do have Rathmines Mums and Carers page, and there's obviously the Rathmines school pages and things, and you can always just ask to get in contact with us any other way, but hopefully we will see you at our first meeting in February.
Thank you.
Faces.
It is a really lovely, thank you Nadine, thank you for coming. It is a really lovely way for you to meet other parents too if you are new to our school and you don't know any other families. It's a great way to meet, and you do learn more by coming to the meetings. Mr. Walker's report is really quite detailed, and you learn lots of stuff that some of the other families might not necessarily know because you're at that meeting, and you get input into lots of things that we do here at school. So and they're really good fun. I've worked with them over the years, and it's a fun group of people to be with. So thank you. Miss Watson.
Thank you. So one of the programs that we run in kindergarten through Year 1 and Year 2 as well is called REN, which is Rathmines Early Numeracy Program. And you might have some of your kids that have gone through kindergarten, Year 1 and Year 2, hearing them talk about ninja groups. So to the kids, they're called ninja groups or ninja games, but the program is targeted, Rathmines Early Numeracy. So pretty much every day for about half an hour, we get the kids broken up into ability groups, and the way that we break them up into those ability groups is every 5 weeks we reassess every child one-on-one with little interactive things, so counters and little tense frames, and everything is all hands-on, pretty much concrete materials. So we sit with them one-on-one every 5 weeks, and we just assess where they're up to, and the program is in like a sort of chronological order of how the students would naturally sort of learn mathematical concepts. Every 5 weeks, we get them into groups, and so I don't know if you can see it over here, but we always display their levels up on the wall, because when they move up to a new group, they love moving their own name up to the new group, and it's a pretty big accomplishment, and everyone claps them, and we stop the whole class. It's really nice for them. So it goes pink, orange, red, purple, green from kindergarten through to year 2.
Back to basics, and there's a very high intensity on phonics from now on again. So we've gone back to basics, back to the phonics. So they'll learn a new sound every day for 4 days a week, and on the 5th day they do lots of revision of those 4 sounds. They practice the sound in many ways. So we have Sammy the Snake for the sound. They have a hand signal that reminds them of the sound. So if a word is starting with, we don't need to say it to them. We just do this and they remember that they have a worksheet that they do each day, and that worksheet goes home. Some parents have put it into a folder so they can practice the sounds on a daily basis, or at least every week, so that they can remember it, and it's revised every day. So we go through those sounds over and over again so that they don't lose it. The more ways that you learn a sound, the better you remember it. So we learn by writing it, we learn by saying it, we're hearing it, we learn by having the hand signal, which is a kinesthetic type of learning. As many senses as we can go into it. And then after we've learned the single sounds, or actually during the time, we start learning what they call is the digraphs, which is 2 sounds that join together to make 1 sound. So for instance, the O and the A, when they join together, they say the sound O. So those are learned as well. So they learn the major ones of those. And when we get to the end of the system, we start to learn others that go into it. This Jolly Phonics program, you can find the songs that they learn to go with it also on YouTube. And so you can Google Jolly Phonics and find lots of things on YouTube. Probably not now, but when they're doing it at school, you might want to find it to follow it at home. Remind them of the song, remind them of the hand signals, remind them of the things that they are doing to go with it. So there's Sammy Snake. He will be the first one that you see next year.
And it won't be long, and you'll be able to do the actions too. Okay, you ready for your first lesson? Okay, we are going to make the word sat. What word are we going to make? Sat. Oh, come on. What word are we going to make? Sat. Okay, are you ready? See, first phonics lesson, you've done it. So backing up all of our maths and our hands-on and really intensive phonics is a program that we put into the school about 4 years ago, Mr.
Maybe
Walker?
even 6,
5 years ago?
6 or 7.
A while ago. And we've evolved with this program, and it's been highly successful in the results across the school, and it's called Explicit Instruction.
It is. So EI is Explicit Instruction. Many of you may recognise elements of Explicit Instruction. The man who has developed this program, John Fleming, he doesn't like us to call it rote learning, but essentially there are elements of Explicit Instruction that are very similar to a rote learning type methodology. So we do chanting, we do really rapid recall to try and move things from the front memory into the deep memory where kids can keep it forever. That's the philosophy behind it. So it's a very research-based program, and it's very effective. We've seen great shift at Rathmines School with the implementation. So, for example, with our phonics, we put slides together with all the sounds that we know. So heading towards the middle of the year when we've got 42 sounds on board, and we rapidly drill them. We call it hyperspeed, and kids love it because they have to try and beat their speed from yesterday, and we make it fun, but it really does get that memory bank working. So you'll notice we have like sit spots on the floor. That's all part of the explicit instruction process as well. The children are actually strategically placed with peers of the same learning ability. We put our lower group at the front that need a little bit of a push or need a little bit of exposure at the front, our middle section, and our kids that have cottoned on fairly quickly and our kids that are fairly moving along, they're at the back so that their voices are carrying over the top, and the children at the front that need a little bit of encouragement and support are hearing what's happening at the back. So it works really well because as a class they sound so clever and they love to show off for other people that come and visit and how fast they can do their sounds and all those sorts of things. So particularly with things like blending, we do a lot of oral blending in kindergarten because the more you actually orally blend, when we go to write a word down with a pencil, you hear the kids actually saying the word out loud. So it's really important that skill of being able to, what I say and what I hear, I can write it down on the page and blend it together. So lots of that sort of stuff. We do it in maths. It's great for maths. Lots of visual recognition of numbers, before and after numbers, recognising dot patterns. Immediately when I roll a 6, I know it's a 6, those sorts of things. And next year, our big focus will be writing from K to 6 and implementing the explicit instruction program a little bit deeper in the writing process. So yeah, if you hear people talking about EI or warm-ups, that's what they're talking about, our whole school instruction program.
Yeah. Hopefully, when the school opens up, we'll invite you in one day and you'll be able to see us in action, and you'll just be amazed in a very short period of time how much the kids can say, can write, can read based on this type of program. So it's very good. So speaking of that, if you want your kids to succeed at school, the big important thing is attendance. If they're not here, they can't learn. So being here at school on time every day is a really big thing. And that's one of my other hats. If your child's away, you'll hear from me. Because unless you tell me that they're sick or something, I follow up all the time, because if they're not here, they're not learning. So we're really quite red hot on attendance. So you need to set a regular routine. Try and arrive before the bell, because that gives them that settling in time. It gives them a chance to play with their friends and to feel that here I am at school. And if they're a little bit tentative about leaving you, it gets them that calm down time before they come to the classroom. Trying to arrange any medical appointments for them after school hours if possible. Sometimes it's not possible, we all know that, but if you can, after school. I know this is a tricky one. Try to avoid taking them away on long holidays because it really does interrupt them. So if your child is away for just 1 week, they'll miss 4 reading warm-ups, 4 maths warm-ups, 4 writing warm-ups, 4 guided reading lessons, 4 writing lessons, 4 new sounds, 4 sight words, 4 maths lessons and 2 new maths concepts. And that's just English and maths. So we do an awful lot every week, and when they're away, they do miss. So we understand about illness, but we really try and encourage you to stick to the school holidays if possible. If your child is sick, you can ring the office and just give us a verbal. We've also now got a new system in place where you get an SMS. So when we mark the roll, if they're not here, you'll get a message, and you can respond to that message as well if you would like to. But every time they're away, we need to have an explanation for why they're away. So that's the SMS. So not only do we do, when we talked earlier in our vision about developing the whole child, not only do we do English and maths and science and HISI and PE, we do lots of other things. Michelle's already talked about the one-eye group. We have a big environmental groups. We have lots of visitors. We do dance groups and sporting teams and guitar and all sorts of things that your child can be involved in. Kindergarten probably not quite so much, but as they go through their schooling. This is a new one. Miss Watson's going to talk to us about this.
Great. So at Rathmines, obviously we always cared about the students' well-being, but we are particularly pushing it starting from this year. We've already started it in some classrooms, and next year will be a stronger push for it. So pretty much we have a few different programs that we have already had. So the You Can Do It program they're focused on resilience, persistence, getting along, organisation, and confidence. Confidence.
Yeah, confidence.
So that's something we've had at the school for a long time, and we do some whole school activities where the kids can actually work with students from different years on different activities for looking at organisation or looking at how to be persistent, and there's songs that go with it. Each week at assembly, a student will come home from every class with a You Can Do It award, and every 5 weeks we change the award, so it'll be Gabby Get Along or Oscar organised. So there's a one student of the week, and there's a You Can Do It person every week. So that's where that program comes from. You'll learn more next year. Another thing we've started this year in some classrooms, I've started it in mine, is zones of regulation. So you might have heard of it before. Zones of regulation is, they're pretty much the zones that your mind can be in regarding your emotions and feelings. So there's the red zone where students might be angry or frustrated. There's the yellow zone where they're sort of heightened and they could be stressed or just overly excited, but they're not settled. The green zone is what we call the learning zone. It's the best zone we want them to be in when they're learning and they're calm and settled. And there's the blue zone where they're feeling a little bit sad. So we teach explicit lessons about these feelings because we want to sort of steer away from angry means you're in trouble or it's naughty to be angry, and sort of just teach the students from a young age, from kindergarten, ways that they can self-regulate their own emotions and feelings. And when they start to feel themselves escalating a little bit, we want to provide them with strategies that work specifically for that child. Every child is different, obviously not one strategy will work for the next person, but different things like deep breathing, or just there's lots of different things actually. We've got a calming corner in my room that I have used so much with kindergarten this year. Clearly there's a lot of different things that happened this year with COVID, and their emotions are all over the place. They were really resilient, to be honest. I was so impressed considering how young they are. But we did have to use the calming corner a fair bit, breathing things. There's lots of different avenues that we go down with that, but zones of regulation is one thing. Restorative practice is very similar. We also do something in the morning called a morning circle, and this is just to try and get them verbalising their emotions and feelings a little bit. So talking how they're feeling. If they're not feeling well, they can talk to me about it, but start using the language from a young age to try and get those skills going throughout school, to acknowledge how they're feeling and how we can sort of keep the escalating out of low. We want them to be in the green zone pretty much for learning, and we talk about that all the time in kindergarten.
Yeah.
So, did you?
No, keep going.
Yeah, sorry. We also have something called a talk club, which Mr. B, one of our special ed teachers, runs once a week, where once again it's talking, we want the students to verbalise how they're feeling. So if they're feeling a little bit upset, they can go and talk at talk club, and it's an open space for them to, obviously never judgmental here, but it's a non-judgmental space where he runs it in a really mature and professional way, and the students can go and talk about anything that's on their mind regarding school, family, anything they like. And the student voice team is a team we've put together this year, and it will continue through the next few years as well and on, where a few students from every class will sort of represent their age group or their cohort, and they meet together regularly and they talk about ways that they can improve the school as a whole. So it's really great. They have the voice of the student pretty much, and they can go and talk to their friends and think, oh, what's something we could do at our school to make you happier at recess, or make it a more inclusive area before school when people are feeling a little bit sad. What could we do in the morning? So they meet together, and they've already thought of some really, really great ideas that we're going to start next year, which just, it's nice just not hearing it from the teachers all the time, you'll be happy if you do this, but having the student voice is really important to give them some responsibility on behalf of the students.
Yeah, so it's a new initiative that we've started, and we're really conscious with COVID about how anxious our kids are. So we're a new program designed to support them all the way through. You can see that we have lots and lots of fun in kindergarten, just some of the experiences, a dress-up day, the fire engine, Mr. Walker awarding all the gold medals after a race day we had. So we do lots and lots of things in kindergarten. So these next ones, I'm going to skip through it because we're going to run out of time. So just letting you know that we don't make the COVID rules. We adhere to the Department of Health and the Department of Education. They tell us what we are going to be doing as far as COVID. So tonight when you had to check in and show me your VAC certificate, it was because we've been instructed to do that. So we follow those rules. We have a COVID cleaner in the school, and she goes around and does high-touch services after the kids have been in the playground and in the classroom. So she does that all day long in and around the school to keep our kids safe. We have a hand sanitizer. We teach them how to wash their hands and how to do that. So we try and look after them as best we can. At the moment, unfortunately, parents are not allowed on site. So drop off and pick up you can do it in two places. You can do it at the top at Secret Corner Road near the main office, or you can collect your children from down here. And the teachers are there to make sure that the kids are safe and they go with the right parent. We do that every afternoon. So next term, the first thing your kindergarten child will do is best start. So that's a time for us to begin that 5-weekly assessment to see what skills they're bringing to school. We don't just assume that all kids are the same. We've had kids come to school who are already reading, and so we start them at one place, and we've had kids come to school who haven't yet held a pencil, so we start them at a different place. So the best start helps us work that out. It's an individual session that you will come during the first 2 days of school, but your child only comes for 1 half-hour session, and it'll be with one of the teachers, and you'll bring them down here to the classroom. Actually, you'll come through that gate, if COVID rules are still here, and then they'll do the assessment, and then we'll give them back to you. You get feedback on that assessment in about 4 weeks on what we find out. We'll enter through, I'll let you know whether it's the top gate or the bottom gate, depending on what the COVID rules are at the time. But I'll send you a note about that. There are 2 days for the best start. There's Tuesday the 2nd and Wednesday the 3rd. And before you leave tonight, if you know your timetable, you can nominate your time. So you only need 1 time from all of this. So I'll leave that over here. And if you want to nominate your best start time, you can. There you go, that's that bit. Next year we're going to be lucky to have an ethics teacher as well. So we're going to have scripture, that's the religious part, we'll have special religious education, we'll have ethics education, or we'll have a withdrawal group. So next year I'll send you home a note to see on your enrolment form you would have ticked whether you wanted to attend scripture. We've also now got the 3rd option. So I'll send you home a note again at the beginning of the year and you can let us know. The little flyer you've got, that's from the ethics people. Mr. Walker, we got told today we might have 2 ethics teachers. So yeah, so very good. Attached to the school we also have our very special education unit. Those children are wonderful. They add a whole range of special things to our school. They help create a very caring and sensitive environment for our mainstream kids. The special ed kids come and join with kindergarten for some of the days we do. They join us for sport. It's really lovely to see the interaction. It's good for them to come and have a model in a mainstream classroom, and it's good for us to learn patience and caring and responsibility for another person. So it really works both ways, and they're wonderful kids. Lots of other teachers you'll have other than your own teacher. You'll have a teacher for library, Mrs. Priest. You'll have a HISI teacher to teach history and geography, and you might have a science teacher. So they will interact with lots and lots of other teachers during the week. So next year, in 2022, we don't usually put the children straight into a class. So we'll bring them in, and how the room is now is how it will stay for a few days. We'll have all of the kids in here together with all of the teachers, and we have a look at this socially, because while I've been in contact with preschools and we've had them for some time at Rascals and some time at Catalina Kids, we still need to check the final social arrangements to get that right as well. So we use those couple of days just to check that out. We will let you know when we officially put them into classes next year. So some practical matters. Their first full day, so the day that you will bring them for their first full day, is Thursday the 3rd of February. I'll send all this home to you in a note, by the way, so don't panic. This is where we will meet you at the bottom gate, because it's 9:30, it's not normal school time. So we'll meet you down here, and we'll bring the kids in at 9:30, and then in the afternoon, just for those first couple of days, the Thursday and the Friday, finish time is early as well. So we do that because there's 370 children in the playground, and it can be a bit overwhelming. So we do the 9:30 till the 2:30 just to get them in for the first day without having to deal with that huge amount of kids. I will send this home to you though. So after that first week, school starts at 9 and finishes at 3. And once we know what the COVID rules are, we will advise you of where you can pick them up. But that's a sort of a bit of an unknown. So I'll send it home to you in a note. If your child can come to our transition session tomorrow, that's wonderful. We'd love to see you. We'll meet you up the top near the office at 11:30, and then we'll bring them back up to you at 1 o'clock. If there is a change, we'll let you know. But the best start times will not change. So once we give you a best start time, that's set in stone. But the other rules about accessing the school might change. So when you come to school, when you're buying your child's backpack, please buy one that's 2 sizes bigger than what you think they need. Because they have to pack their bag. So if their bag is this big and only their lunchbox fits in it, there's nowhere for their jumper, their hat, their sound book, their library book, their artwork. They just can't get it in. So they need a nice big backpack that they can actually manage themselves. And you need to teach them how to zip it and unzip it and pack it and unpack it so that they're comfortable with that backpack. They need their recess, their lunch and drink. Please only water. Don't send sticky cordial drinks because that's a disaster if it leaks. And it's really not good to hype them up on sugar. So just water, please. And in preschool, you know, there's all these rules about healthy food, but we've discovered that once they come to school, some parents forget about that and send lots and lots of junk. You know, while it's easy, it's not the best way to learn. If they get hyped up on sugar at a break and then come back into the classroom, it's very difficult to settle. So please always think healthy. We also do a fruit and vegetable break every day, so you need to bring a small piece of cut up fruit or vegetables in a little container with their name on it, and they'll have a fruit break during the day. They need their hat every day because who knows what kindergarten gets up to. So we need their hat every day to play. And this is from the office. In kindergarten, it's quite common to have little accidents. It happens all the time, girls, boys, everybody. So if you pack a little pair of spare underpants and a spare something, you know, shorts or something if they're a boy, we will let them change. If they have an accident and they don't have anything, the office has spares. So we won't leave them wet by any means. And it does happen and we're quite used to that, so it doesn't worry. Label everything, and everything that your child brings to school should have their name on it, like their hat. We won't take their shoes off because they can't put them back on, but their hat, their jumper, their lunchbox, their drink bottle, everything they bring to school, please label. So there we go. Mr. Walker, would you like to say anything before we finish up?
Yeah, for sure. Well, firstly, just to thank you all for coming along. It's great to have you here, and very sincere word of thanks to Kathy and Michelle and Phoebe and Michelle for their presentation this afternoon. I'll be listening to it all, and seriously, I think it was very, very comprehensive and really well put together. Just to set it all in context, the importance of this gathering tonight, we have lots and lots of unhappy parents at the school at the moment, not because of the school not operating well, but simply trying to cope with the COVID restrictions. So we had a P&C meeting on Monday night, and a lot of what we talked about was how we're trying to cope with the end of year events. So we have lots of parents of our Year 6 children who are obviously quite concerned that they can't come along to the presentation day, which is a very big traditional event at the end of the year for all schools. We have our affirmation assemblies at the end of the year as well, where all the children receive certificates. Again, parents can't be here. So it's a difficult time for them, but I think just to give you the sense of importance that is placed on establishing that working relationship between parents and the school when children are starting school, we had a meeting last week with the Georgina Harrison, who's the Secretary for the Education Department. She was making the point that the Minister of Education actually lobbied really hard with the Health Department to get special approval for parents of kindergarten children to come into the school. And I think that we've always been very much of that belief that it's really important to establish that relationship when new families are starting at the school, when children are commencing their education. And we've always done that. Historically we've always had our little Rathmines Rascals, and then the Catalina, where the parents come along and they're there with the children, then the Catalina kids and so on, then our parent information session we've had tonight, and then the 2 kinder orientation days. So it's we are in a way really fortunate that we're in a position where parents can come in for this, but I think it really just sort of emphasises the importance that we do place on establishing that relationship. So really thank you for coming along, and again, every year at these occasions I just talk briefly about the fact that education is a really complex matter, that we all love our children dearly, we want the very, very best for them. It's becoming, as someone who's been involved in education for quite a while now, it's certainly becoming more and more complex. This year's been particularly difficult, and last year. And so in that sort of environment, we're all trying to achieve the best for the children in our care, or our own children. Complex issues can arise, and it's really just a matter of reassuring you that all of and you can see from the quality of what's been presented to you tonight, the teachers are very, very dedicated here. They work extremely hard to do their best to provide the best possible education for you, and we're very proud of what we achieve at the school. But there are going to be times when little problems are going to arise. And I think communication is a really important part of that. Just trying to get that understanding that we are co-educators, we're working together. Communication is a really important thing, so this is obviously a really important start to that. But as your child goes through from kinder through to Year 6, as issues arise, obviously establish that communication with the class teacher, that Kathy spoke about before. Again, there'll be situations where you might have raised an issue with the class teacher and it's still not resolved to your satisfaction, or you're still a little bit concerned. Please don't hesitate to make an appointment to come along and to see me, and we try and work our way through it together. But that's what we're about, trying to really provide the best possible education for your children, and we need to work together to do that. So we're really looking forward to working with you. Obviously, have some familiar faces already have children at the school, but a particular welcome to the people who are completely new to the Rathmines community. Look forward to seeing the children tomorrow. Come over and say good day. It has been, as I said, it's been a challenging year in lots of levels, and even from our transition program it's been difficult, where Rascals was held up, and then we had the Catalina Rascals and so on. But I think we are in a position to ensure that the children get off to a really smooth start, and I can really assure you that all your children enrolled here, all the teachers will be doing their very, very best to support your children. Thank you.